energy that's all those little bits in there that are jumping around. You get a billion of them together, and you've got artificial intelligence, and you've got a computer that really can do something. Well, okay, we're all bits of energy. You're surrounded by an energy field. We know that. I'm surrounded by an energy field. And maybe individually we're not so much, but boy, collectively, we could do miracles. And this is a wonderful planet we live on. I think that's one reason that I think a lot of people from the neighborhood, and maybe even not from the neighborhood, come around here to check us out, because we have a beautiful world, and but we're not doing right by it, as I think you would agree. And if we could ever just get our act together and quit listening to the people who control everything we see and hear, thanks to their ownership over the corporate mass media, I think, and just start operating as at local levels and as in communities, we could turn this whole place into a paradise. In fact, hey, Chase, consider this. The United States of America right now today is still very, very rich in resources. We've still got clean water, except maybe for the Gulf, and we've got lots of coal and oil and gas and minerals, and we got all the resources we need. And we have a reasonably educated workforce. Now, with that in consideration, I ask you, why should we be in financial difficulties? And the answer, you ready?
Yes.
The answer is because somebody wants it that way.
I absolutely agree. There's definitely bigger players pulling the puppet strings, and and it goes back way further than just the last couple of elections. That's for sure.
That's for sure. And instead of pointing the finger at them or putting them on trial, we're paying them.
Yeah.
we're giving them bailouts and stimulus packages. Are we nuts or what?
Well, I think, we forgot to ask the questions and hold people accountable, and I believe the word is sheep. Turning into where we're just kind of going along and just concerned with some of our own issues, and, if it doesn't affect my pocketbook, if my brother's hungry, whatever,
That's true. That's true. Well, in all my years as a journalist, I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say, well, we'll let Washington take care of that. Well, folks, they have. And it's not a pretty picture.
Jim, thank you so much for taking my questions. I, really enjoy talking to you, and this was awesome. Thank you for doing this tonight.
Anything else on your mind tonight, Chase?
Well, I could ask 50 more questions, but I don't want to hog the time, and I know there's a lot of people who want to talk to you. So, as I learned in Nashville, I wasn't joking about how many times I tried to, get up to, talk to Jim, and completely surrounded at all times with fans and people. I couldn't get near him. It was crazy. So this was a great opportunity, even though we talked before. But
maybe I need to hire a security guy or something. I don't. But
I'll stand guard for you.
Will you do that? Will you do that? I would appreciate it.
Absolutely will. Next time, put me in.
All right, there you go. And then your payment will be, you get to ask an extra question on your own.
Oh, you're so generous. Thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Chase. And listen, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Chase is another one of these permanent, temporary, moving host on here on Epic Voyages. So be sure and check her out. She is a dynamo and a really sharp and thoughtful person. Okay, do we have any more callers at the moment?
Hello, Jim.
Yes.
Yes, this is Michael.
Hey, Michael.
How are you? I'm Chase's co-host. It's ironic that I was able to get on right after her.
Oh, I think you and Chase are double teaming me here.
Well, I got a good one for you, and I'm just curious about your opinion on this.
All right. As we say in the JFK assassination research community, shoot.
Okay. You're aware, of course, of this asteroid that's coming into our galaxy, and has
LNN?
passed.
Yeah,
Yes,
LNN? Yeah.
right, which has passed Pluto now and is heading in. But the ironic thing about this, it's not coming from the Kuiper Belt because the Kuiper Belt isn't out that far. So, do you have any ideas of whether this is, since we don't have any eyes out there really, whether this is truly an asteroid or potentially something else?
Oh boy, you're trying to put me on the spot here.
No, you
Uh,
don't have to answer it. You really don't. But I
well,
wanted to know your
well,
opinion.
hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Actually, I really can't because that whole issue is still in my file. Okay, I've looked at all the information coming down the pike from here, there, and everywhere, and I just have to
Mhm.
scratch my head and say, but I'll tell you this: I don't think we're getting afraid of it from the the experts that we would expect to get the straight account from.
Right.
Um, for one thing, there's several things that really bother me. Number one, of course, is the Doomsday Seed Vault in
Mhm.
Spitsbergen, Norway, where they have salted away every heirloom seed on the planet
Yep.
in a air-proofed vault in a granite mountain. And then you look and see who were the sponsors of that, and we find it's Bill Gates and
Mhm.
it's the Rockefeller Foundation, and
Mhm.
in conjunction with the country of Norway and Monsanto. And
Mhm.
interestingly enough, Monsanto's not putting any of their damned old Terminator seeds in there, that you have to go back and buy every year. They're putting heritage and heirloom seeds in there.
You
And
got
then we
you got that right.
and then we find out that the latest telescope, our latest radio telescope, is being built in Antarctica, and that
Right.
the Vatican is building a radio telescope in Antarctica. And of course, the people who've been trying to tell us about Planet X or Nibiru or
Mhm.
Wormwood or whatever you want to call it, they all
Mhm.
say it's going to be coming in from the south. So that means Antarctica would be the ideal location to try to spot something like this coming in. And
Right.
I don't know. There's just a lot of things going on that really bother me. And yet, when you ask, the science guy or the guy on the TV or somebody at NASA, they all go, "Oh no, don't worry about it. Everything's fine." But of course,
Yeah.
uh, Michael, I think you probably lived long enough as I have to know that just because they tell you everything's fine does not always mean that it's fine. Because I can still remember when they told us there was light at the end of the tunnel in Vietnam. We had that thing covered. Everything was good. We were going to be able to pull out of there, and we had everything under control. And of course, then we got the Tet Offensive, and
Yeah, that all went down the drain in a hurry. I
six,
remember that.
6 or 7 more years of war.
You
So
got that right.
yeah,
Well, the
so
interesting thing, Jim, they're saying that, this thing's going to come within 22 million miles. Now that sounds like a lot, but when you consider the sun is what, 93 million miles away, this thing
uh,
is going to be huge in the sky, and I think we're supposed to start seeing it like in January, if I'm not mistaken.
maybe before. Uh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I think the thing we have to worry about is the mass, and
yeah,
that's what I can't seem to get a handle on. First, we're
right.
told it's an asteroid, and then we're told no, it's just a comet, just this dirty ball of ice. But
Mhm.
even comets have some mass and or can pull various asteroids and pieces of space junk along with it. And of course,
Sure.
then we're told maybe it's a dwarf star or a dark star that's imploded. If that's the case, then that could explain why we can't see much, and yet
Right.
and yet and yet the mass could be incredible. Okay,
Yes, it could.
and if it's coming that close, even with just a little bit of mass, you know that it's going to cause disturbances on the Earth
Absolutely.
just because of celestial mechanics and the stress of gravitational pull.
Exactly. And if it's a dark star or a black hole or another form of energy coming from outer space that we don't even have a clue about,
Yeah.
who really knows what this thing is going to be?
Well, I can tell you. I can tell you
Okay.
right now with absolute surety, okay?
I'm
It's
ready.
it's an anomaly.
That's a good one, Jim. You had to bring that word back into this whole thing, didn't you?
I had to bring that back up. Yeah, I did.
That is good. It
Hey,
is an anomaly.
it's okay. It's
It's
okay, folks. It's okay. Go back sleep. It's just an anomaly coming in.
that's right. It's one of those things that we have a strange word for, but we don't even know what the meaning of the word is.
That's right. We don't know what the heck it is.
That's right. Well, that's all I have. I don't want to clog up the line, Jim. It's been great talking with you.
Well, thank you. And I would, it's a good question, and I would advise everybody with half a brain, one eye to keep an eye on this issue because there's something coming in, and unless it really is just some kind of little bitty old comet with a few balls of ice, it could cause some disturbances on this planet. And so I would pay more attention to Ellen than I would who's going to be American's Idol.
You got that right. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Now, anybody else on the line?
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Hi, it's Christine Dickey / Wilder, the state director for Arizona. And I just wanted to add a comment to the last topic that you were talking about. And back in 2009, in February, I was taking a lot of photos, going out at night, setting up my Nikon D90 on a tripod, taking photos of stuff out here in Arizona, and I downloaded one of my little chips on the computer, and I was actually taking a picture of something else when there was this little gray object right in the middle of the photo. So I enlarged the object, and lo and behold, it's a rock. It is a big rock. I have a 300 millimeter lens on that thing, so it can shoot way out into space. But
so it's not a dirty snowball.
Oh no, sir! It was actually being followed by 3 objects that were leaving an ionized trail.
Whoa!
And they were domed objects. So you tell me if those were dirty snowballs. And I sent that photo to National Geographic. I sent it to University of Arizona. I sent it to New Science magazine and a couple of others, and I never heard a peep from anybody.
Well, let's consider this, and Christine, this isn't just to you. This is to everyone that's listening now, and in the chat room. If you came into evidence like you say you have, that there's something really coming in, and if it was something that you think might be a real awakening for the world, either good because, hey, we're here, your space brothers to save you, or we're here to eat you, whatever.
No, not at all.
But think about it. There is a responsibility on the people who have leadership positions. They don't want to cause chaos and panic among the population. And I'm speaking here with a group of people. You guys have your eyes and ears and your minds open, or you wouldn't be listening in. But think about everybody else. Don't we have an obligation to somehow tell them in a soft, easy way that their world view is fixing to change?
Yeah. But the remarkable thing is that these 3 UFOs were pushing that thing away from us.
Well, see, there you go. Maybe it's a good thing.
I mean, what is more wonderful than that?
Yeah.
I mean, they're watching out for us.
Christine, I would suspect so, because if you go back, and I'm sure you have, and most of the people who've studied UFOs for years, you know the history. They've been here ever since the big dawn of
before we were.
History. Before we were.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So if their objective was to take over the planet or kill us or eat us or something, they would have done it long before now. Now, I'm not one of these that thinks that they're our space brothers and sisters and they're going to come pull our iron out of the fire. I think, when you make your bed, you have to lie in it, okay?
Exactly.
But I don't think they're going to sit around and let us be destroyed, particularly if it's something that we don't have the capability of doing anything about. So what you're telling me is really quite fascinating.
They love us still.
Yeah. What if they are out there pushing something away from us a little bit so we don't, it's a real thought.
That's saying something.
It really is.
And I'd love to send this photo to you guys if you want it, because it really shows a lot.
Well, please do. I'd love to see it. And
okay, I have your email, by the way. So
there you go. There you go. Send it by email, and send a copy to Ken Cherry too.
Oh, I will. Geez, Ken, there's so much I could talk about that. Anyway, I'll let somebody else get on the line.
Well, all right. Hang on. I want you to hang on just a minute, Christine. I want to simply reiterate that this is Epic Voyages. This is the radio format for the Epic Voyages, which is and correct me if I'm wrong, Extraordinary Phenomena Investigations Council. I believe that's correct. And we are looking into all kinds of things. And with me right now is Christine Dickey. And Christine, just very, very briefly, before you go, reiterate what you just said for those who may be just joining in or didn't get to hear that very clearly.
Okay, on February 19th, I was out in my backyard taking photos. Actually, I saw an object between two houses, and it was going back and forth, and I didn't know what it was, and I thought, oh, heck, I was going to try out my new camera and take a photo, and I took several. But when I came back in and put them on the computer, there was this anomalous gray object right in the middle of the photo. And there was a bunch of little ones, like a whole cluster. And so I enlarged that, and lo and behold, it is definitely an asteroid. There is no doubt in my mind. And also there's 3 UFOs in this photo showing that they are accompanying this asteroid. Now, probably more than likely to make sure that it doesn't smash into our planet.
Well, Christine, what gives you the impression that they were trying to exert some influence on it, trying to push it, pull it, or whatever?
Well, obviously they don't want to see us destroyed, or they want to at least keep it away from a populated area. My guess is that if this thing hit us, it would be like the end of the dinosaurs all over again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, maybe they want to make sure they get to see the conclusion of Harry Potter.
Yeah, maybe they just don't want it to blow up so they can come back.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Well, thank you so much for the call. That was quite fascinating. So now we have another. Okay, I think we have. Thank you, Christine. I think is James. James, are you still on hold? Is James out there?
Oh, damn.
All right, who we got next on here? All right,
Well,
I'll tell you what. Let me answer to Vix Alien. I guess it is. And since it's a Vix Alien, I'm assuming this may be a female. So I'm going to say she is asking, do I think the Tunguska crash could have been a UFO? And I want to tell you something. I've written about that, and I've studied that for many years. And the bottom line answer is yes. And the reason I say that is because there is good evidence, both eyewitness and otherwise, that the object that created this giant explosion over Siberia back in 1907, 1909, that was monitored all around the world, that there was a course correction at the last moment. And of course, a meteor doesn't make a course correction. And also, I have reason to believe that there's more to it than we know or have been told because of my dealing with the Army's remote viewing unit. And some of them went to take a look at that, and they said it was, here comes that word again, It was an anonymous, I can't even say it now, anonymous object. So I think there was something going on there. And we haven't been told the full straight of all of that. And as Vix Alien points out, whatever blew up before it hit the ground because there's no crater, and yet it created an explosion that was tantamount to a low yield nuclear explosion. Okay, we've got a question from Just Sarah. Oh, listen, come on, Sarah. It's not just Sarah, it's the Sarah. Where else can I find information on Aurora? I'm wanting to do a research paper on it. Okay, well, come to Wise County and I'll give you a tour. Aurora, Texas, by the way, is located about 20 miles north of Fort Worth. It's on Highway 114, just off 287. Find more information on Aurora. What am I thinking of? Of course, read Alien Agenda. All right, this was published back in the 90s. Publishers Weekly says the most entertaining and complete overview of flying saucers and their crew in years. And of course, that's Alien Agenda by Jim Marrs. Buy my book. And in there, you will find, I opened the whole thing up with my whole experience as newspaper reporter dealing with the Aurora spaceship story. That'll give you plenty of good places to start. We have Jamie on the line. Is there Jamie?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, hey, Jamie. How's it going?
It's going great, and I want to say it's an honor having you here on Inception Radio. I'm one of the owners here and producers. I had a question for you. Since you're into conspiracy so much, many of us, I would say a great deal of us who explore conspiracy, believe that the government does not run the world. Who do you believe actually calls the big calls? Who do you think is acting as the final say in what goes on in our government?
Oh, boy. Well, you know, Jamie, the problem with a question like that is that I've got two ways of answering you. I can give you the 25 words or less, in which case you're going to go, well, you're just nuts. You know, where'd you get that? Or I can background you to the point to where you go, oh, I see how all that fits together. But that would take hours and hours, and you'd probably get bored and hang up and go to sleep before I got finished with that. So that's really a tough one. But let me just say that the people we see in the mass media, presidents, prime ministers, these are just sock puppets, okay? They are people who are allowed to be or put into those positions. And there are financial powers, and I would say finances because I think it was Meyer Rothschild who was quoted as saying, I care not who makes the laws as long as I can control the money. Because whoever controls the money, it's the golden rule. You know, whoever has the gold makes the rules. And you don't really hear about those people much, okay? But they have front people. They have the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and the DuPonts and the Morgans and these families who act as their administrators. And that doesn't mean they're all necessarily bad. They're probably very capable administrators, but they do not make the decisions.